So everybody ready? So I'll call to order the Utility Commission meeting for Wednesday, April 9th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Quorum is here and the agenda was properly posted.
Yes.
Okay. Public appearances, anybody? Okay. And then number 4, discuss and consider the minutes of the Utility Commission meeting on February 12th, 2025 and March 12th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for February 12th, 2025 and March 12th, 2025 as shown.
Okay, a second please?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And no one abstaining, thank you. Number 5, discuss and consider approval of the vouchers. I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers as posted. Can I have a second, please? Okay, and then any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you again. And my favorite, unfinished business, the update on the fire hydrant service at Fireman's Park.
So I did some digging on what it's going to cost us to replace the curb stop, or to put a curb stop and to replace the water line. Hamburg Contractors gave me a quote for $4,000 for just the curb install. I did reach out to a plumber as well to see what their cost would be, since to pull that utility line, they do not install curb stops, so it would have to be from a contractor. Given that that $4,000 was just for the installation of the curb stop, staff was going to replace any concrete because it was going to be a small patch, or asphalt. Given the cost of that, my recommendation, because the 1-inch service line that is existing that goes to the water fountain and to the park's concession stand needs to be replaced anyway. At some locations, it's buried literally 6 inches deep. My suggestion would, let's make it a larger project and work in the upcoming budget cycle if possible, or in the future with parks in general, because that asphalt is failing as well. And I would recommend that we don't replace the curb stop, or put a curb stop in and replace the water line and replace Sean's failing park asphalt just on the utility, would be my recommendation.
Okay. Well, I guess the only thing I have is I'd really like to have it done before next fall.
Yep.
And if it's just $4,000 for the curb stop, and then from there, it should be on Sean and putting his budget together for fixing the rest of the line. Because if he doesn't want to fix it, or if he can't fix it, we can still shut it off. It's just that fire hydrant next to the building will work should there be a building fire, which, like I said, they estimated a couple $100,000 worth of vehicles and equipment in there. And otherwise, the nearest hydrant is either on Reynolds Street or Bass Street, which I know they can work it that way, but. So, any other discussion or ideas?
No, so the precipice is all because that hydrant is shut down. Sorry. The genesis of this discussion is that that hydrant is out of commission all winter long when it's shut off in order to prevent the water service from freezing through the park.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Anybody else? Well, I will certainly take always expert advice over my advice, but I do not want to go another winter with that building not have a hydrant.
Okay, I'll keep
So-
doing some budgeting and see what we can do
And again,
to get in the budget.
$4,000 is not, I think Cameron would even say that's not going to be too out of the park.
No, it's not gonna.
No.
And actually where that hydrant is, it's in soil, not asphalt. So
Yep.
it's an easy dig.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll just move that one down the line and see what Sean comes up with, okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you for your research. Number 7, discuss the potential use of impact fees for development water main loop.
So I'm gonna share my screen here quickly. And if it loads here in a second. There is a potential developer. Nothing has official come forward, but should development happen of these few parcels that are still located in the township that is aware. If a developer is interested, it would have to be annexed in. But in 2026, we are planning for the Gaston Road water main looping that will go underneath the interstate and along Gaston Road that will loop back up to County Highway N. That's the project that was approved for design in 2025 with anticipated construction in 2026. Should a development come, it is likely that these parcels will be put together or will be combined into one larger parcel for a development. And there is a potential that water could be served off of Herb Road down here. Given that the water main will be extended along Gaston and their water would have to go so far into their potential site for fire protection and their usage, there could be a small portion of water main upwards of less than 300, 400 feet that would finish the loop for that entire area and give us redundancy. Should a development come through, obviously they have to go through all the proper channels with Plan Commission and they would come and present to you guys here. But if a development came through, would you guys be interested in potentially using impact fees for the small amount of water main to finish out that looping?
Anybody? I think it would be probably a fine idea.
Yeah, I would have no problem with that.
Okay,
We don't need
perfect.
to- We don't need a vote on that, do we? Okay.
Nope, not today.
Okay, and then B is statistics for water billing.
All right.
So this was on the last couple of meetings. So have the information for this group now. So just a reminder to this group. So we kind of implemented this in stages. So first we brought on community portal to collect to replace the kind of the old system, which was payment service solution. And then in April of 2024, we implemented going from quarterly billing to monthly billing. So just some high level statistics. So 78% of utility customers are utilizing the portal to some extent. 71% of the people, so 71% of the overall customers are making online payments through the portal. So that's a pretty significant jump. We were at 49% of customers utilizing that service through payment service network. So what that allows us to do and kind of why it's important is the less time something has to be touched by a staff or checks being mailed in, that reduces overall amount of employee and time spent on it, and therefore labor is going to be your most expensive expense typically when it comes from a billing perspective. So there is a cost to it though. So we're currently saying approximately each month about $3,400 in convenience fees related to individuals paying online, and about $1,700 for the people who are choosing to still have the bills mailed to them. Kind of at a high level, when I looked at this initially, we were estimating to see, if we had kept with the same service, we would have seen about a 22% cost reduction. It actually ended up with, because I could never have estimated that this amount of people would choose to be paying online, we're actually closer to seeing about a 32% cost savings compared to where we would have been at with the prior service provider. We have an incredible, the response has been really positive overall. The most common response I get passed on either directly, call that I received, or from Kristen, is that people appreciate that if there's a problem, they're not getting it months after the fact or 3 months of billing. They get a bill, they can identify an issue, work with Kristen, our staff, and get staff out there to fix the problem, or get a plumber out there to fix a problem. And so that has been overwhelmingly positive. Additionally, we've seen kind of the average outstanding balance dip. So I think a lot of the times we were getting close to a quarterly billing being near $300 to $350. While it's not our responsibility to budget for residents, we've gotten the feedback that paying the smaller monthly balances has been more manageable than having to come up with a large sum of money to make the quarterly payments. And then again, just a reminder, the PSU did require us to go to monthly billing. So again, we didn't want to create more work just for fun. When we implemented the AMI, or advanced metering technology, which allows us to access the meters at any point in time and have hourly reading on consumption. When we implemented that technology, we had a certain amount of time to convert to that frequency and billing, which was defined by the next time we did a conventional rate case that was finalized on April 1st. So kind of the next step, and we actually just got news today. So one of the biggest complaints on our new, focus on the positive first, I can go complaints, was our bills currently, if somebody was signed up for auto pay, when they got the actual bill, it didn't actually say auto pay on the bill, so there's some confusion. Am I signed up for auto pay? Am I not signed up for auto pay? As of April 15th, the vendor has made that correction. And so going forward, we are anticipating that will be, fixed for bills coming forward. There is still an overwhelmingly response about just water rates, and I think there's a lot of economic pressures right now, but water and sewer rates feeling high. When we get those calls, I would always say, if you guys get questions as commission members, get those questions to Kristen or myself. But that's part of when the PSC authorized rates, they do kind of look for, are we above where we should be or above surrounding communities? They do really take a look at kind of the overall complexion of the utility. Again, on the sewer side, the big driver is MMSD. A lot of those things are out of our control. However, we have, continued those conversations and dialogue with that group, including a couple more meetings here coming up. From a water perspective, our rates are about the median of Dane County. So we're happy that we're still being efficient compared to other communities in the area. And again, we do have, we do have deferred payment agreements. So if for some reason somebody, lost their job or experienced difficulties, we do have options to help residents. So what that is, they, can come in and apply with Kristen, and as long as they keep up on their current bills, they can make payments towards a delinquent balance without it necessarily going to the tax roll. So we have a lot of options available. Is there any questions about the kind of billing statistics and billing updates from this group?
It's been nice not to have people coming in complaining about their bills because they had an issue and us having to credit it. So I'll say that it was well worth it in that respect too.
I just have one question. Due to the success of it, will the service fee continue as no service fee?
Yep, so we currently applied. So the last time that the village did a full rate case study, which was before, we put an application in to have the convenience fee be covered, essentially recaptured in our rates, and that was approved. We would actually have to go to the PSC and say, we're no longer gonna do that. So that will continue to be moving forward that way. Good question.
Okay. Much appreciate your information.
Thank you.
Number 8, the engineer's report.
The engineer's report was included in the packet. Variety of updates from Strand, West Lawn, 5th edition. They're still moving forward with the lift station. They've started construction on that again. Quarry Ridge Phase D, they are completed with all utility installation and are starting road reconstruction. The Amazon facility, we had a pre-con last month, and they have started sewer construction, and as of yesterday, they actually moved over to water main construction as well. So they're moving forward for the public utilities pretty quickly over there. Heyday is still in final review for the apartment complex across from Shady Grove. They're planning to start constructions yet this spring and summer. And then the Coyle Highlands South Farm Development that we talked about last month, there have been discussions between both developers, and Strand is moving forward in putting a plan together for the sanitary sewer interceptor. I have a meeting, staff has a meeting with the Tierneys on Friday, so I'll have a better update with that for next meeting as well. The Ridge Lift Station is currently delayed. It has not had any movement for it moving forward. SCADA upgrades are still forthcoming. If you've driven by well number 3 on Main Street recently and you've seen a big black box, that's the new generator. There will be a concrete pad underneath that as soon as that's constructed. Well 2 rehab is moving forward. We are meeting with the PSC tomorrow for a pre-application meeting. So we plan to have more information on well 2 and what that preliminary design looks like for you guys in the upcoming months. Hydrite has their small water main relocation. It's going to be bid and funded by Hydrite, and it's going to be overseen kind of like a development project by Strand. And then, as I mentioned, the farm interceptor, Strand is on the early stages of design. Just to note in the report, it is planned to be designed yet this year, but any construction will be contingent on a developer's agreement and proposed development sites as that moves forward.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for her?
I guess I do, just because it's been an update, I know you had mentioned the Ridge Lift Station actual commencement of that project is not moving forward, but we are in the concluding stages of acquiring the land as approved in previous meetings. So again, we're still following the direction that was given at a previous meeting.
You didn't want to wait till my director's report?
Oh, my bad. Kyla will be touching that on her director report.
Thank you. And now for the complete director's report.
I updated the emergency response plan this past month. We had a lot of outdated information. If you're interested in seeing that, I can most definitely share it with you. It's located where staff can find it should there be an emergency. The Ridge Lift Station lands are in the final process of being purchased, so once those are officially purchased, I will let this group know. The Verizon service on Water Tower 3 is in its final-ish stages, I would say. They have updated their construction drawings per the comments that we had discussed previously, and I am in need of reviewing them to move forward with that final lease. And then the PSC report, I actually have an update on that. Me and Cam and Cassie finalized that this morning, and that was submitted to the PSC this afternoon. And then one thing that is not on this report, circling back to the water tower lighting, I have a meeting with Musco tomorrow, as Musco Lighting was actually the ones that did the installation of the lighting in 2019. So I'm meeting with their new rep that's going to kind of put some budget numbers together. So I'll have more update next month.
From a PSC perspective, kind of the key rate. So Amanda from Baker Tilly will be coming to the second meeting in May to talk and give a presentation to the village board about the financial position of the village, which also includes the water and sewer utility. A key component is the authorized rate of return for the water utility. That was approved at 6.6% in the last rate study. What she'll be presenting, or what she'll have in her report, is we were slightly under that. So basically what happened is what we were approved to charge overall, we were slightly less. We came back slightly less through our operations this year, but not significantly. And this was primarily driven by consumption. So people just didn't use as much water this summer than what was estimated in our initial study. That's not necessarily a bad thing. So we're still well within where, our budgeted parameters were just slightly less than what was authorized. And that is just a key critical number to pay attention to year. So if we start getting to 3%, 2% rate of return on, our water service, that's when I'd come back to you and say, group, I think it's time we need to start revisiting and potentially do a rate increase. And kind of to that, I do plan on bringing Ellers back and have a report ready to this group by August 13th. That would kind of summarize the utility operations for water and sewer with potential, if any, rate recommendations. At this point, I don't expect any significant rate increases here in the future.
Okay, that's good news.
And I'll define significant as anything over 3%. I know significant, just to some, I know our rates, you know, and every resident is impacted differently, but I would say I wouldn't expect at this point in time for it to be more than 3%.
Okay, any other questions for them? Okay, number 10, future agenda items. Other than maybe the tower lighting? Yes. Okay. Anything else? Okay, deluxe. May I have a motion for adjournment, please?
So moved.
And a second?
1 second.
Okay, no one wants to stay late? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And as always, thank you very much, everybody.